All right, everyone. Good Tuesday morning. Thank you for tuning in to your YouTube weather update. Forecaster Josiah Acheampong here. We're kicking it off with a sky cam view of what will be our sunrise soon enough. We're getting some of those vibrant, beautiful colors. The oranges, the reds are starting to fire up. Some of the yellows. It's a beautiful way to start off the day. And what you will know is that this will probably be the last sunrise we get to look like this just for a little bit as we contend with some cloud cover over the next 2 days. But all good things can be deceiving as well. In fact, taking a look at our radar and water vapor imagery, what we will notice is that we are kind of sandwiched in between systems. Yesterday, we had some snow flurries, likely over portions of the Oklahoma Panhandle and portions of Kansas. That system has taken off and away and has managed to make its way to portions of the East Coast. In fact, taking a closer look at that, we can see all up and down the eastern seaboard. I'll try to be brief about this, but all up and down the eastern seaboard, we could see two systems actually coming together. So the system that brought us flurries yesterday is the portion that is giving this storm some of the colder air and the snow portion of it. And then to the south, that's where they're getting another low pressure system to develop, and together they'll merge off the coast and giving them what is classically known as a nor'easter. So they're going to be dealing with those kinds of conditions today, bringing snow, heavy snow to portions of inland, portions of New England, and heavy rain along I-95 corridor. So if for some reason you are traveling to the nation's capital, let's say any place in Virginia, North Carolina, all the way up into Boston and Maine, you may deal with some travel delays. So keep that in mind if that is on your agenda. But again, closer to home, we are watching out for our next system, which is currently bringing some snow to places along Nevada, all the way through Utah, and even portions of, of Colorado. That will be a cold front sweeping through and could squeeze out a couple of snowflakes along with that. But we'll break all that down coming up. First, right now it's cold out there, temperatures in the 20s. We're having south southwest winds pumping in about 10 miles an hour. Those will pick up as we head later into the day, and our dew point is at 15, really indicating how dry our air mass is. But taking a look at our temperatures across the Panhandle, 28 in Vega, 24 in Clovis, 18 in Canadian, and 27 in Paducah. When you factor in the winds, the light and variable winds right now, they're about anywhere between 5 to 15 miles an hour. But the wind chill, though, does feel more like the single digits in the lower teens, 8 in Dalhart, 9 in Guyman, 16 in Pampa, as well as Childress at this hour. But as we break down the next, let's break down what we can expect in terms of winds. As we go throughout this afternoon, we could see winds gusting anywhere between about 20 to 30 miles an hour. I know the model's printing out maybe some 35-mile-an-hour gusts. I'm a little hesitant to go up that high, but can't rule out some gusts above 30 miles an hour in certain instances, especially for areas along and south of I-40. However, heading into Wednesday, we'll get a little break overnight, but Wednesday we'll have a cold front moving through. And along with that, we'll get a shift in our winds coming in from the north. So those will be pouring in not only just the cooler air, but we'll have wind gusts again that can be anywhere between 25 to 30 miles an hour as those winds really start to filter in on the day. Wednesday giving us a colder air mass just in time for Thursday. But taking a look at the next several hours, we will have a cold start right now. Temperatures moderating nicely. By lunchtime, it'll feel like the 50s. So while you may be heading out of the house now in your scarf, gloves, hat, jacket, the whole shebang, you won't need it by the time we get into lunchtime, as we could see some moderating temperatures thanks to that south southwest wind. But let's take a look at our model. Again, pleasant conditions expected today with wall to wall sunshine. However, tomorrow morning, we will have a cold front that begins to push through. Along with that, we could deal with a bank of clouds to kick off the day. Then we should maybe clear out just a bit. Then taking a look at the afternoon, we'll have some moisture begin to creep in here. It has it around 3, 4 o'clock or so. That's when we could see maybe some flakes begin to try and fall over portions of our northwestern counties. However, I do caution this because we could have some dry air, especially in some of the layers of the atmosphere that could inhibit some of this moisture from really making it to the ground. But also, in addition, the orientation and the structure of this storm really isn't favorable for abundant snowfall. So we have a positively tilted open wave. Sounds like a lot of words, but what that is saying ultimately is again, this system probably won't come with a lot of moisture, and if it does, it won't be a lot as well. But we could see some flakes fly, and we could even maybe squeeze in a couple of flakes here in Amarillo in the central panhandle, but we'll see how much of that actually makes it to the ground. Heading into Thursday, we'll start off cold. Temperatures could be in the teens and 20s yet again, and will likely stay cold on Thursday throughout the day. In terms of just how much snowfall we can expect, I mean, again, models aren't really looking too impressive. We're likely going to pick up, I would say, anywhere maybe west of 287. That's where we likely can see some maybe coatings to an inch of snow. The inch would likely be reserved for the higher elevations, or our northwestern suburbs and rural areas, and as well as the higher elevations in Union County. That's also where we do have a winter weather advisory that will go into effect tomorrow, Wednesday at noon, and will last until 6 a.m. on Thursday as they contend with possibly anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of snow, especially along the Santa Crystal Mountains. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that. But as far as your forecast for today, we're in the 50s and 60s. It's going to be a nice break and relief from the cold air that we will experience and have been experiencing over the last several days. We're cooling down tonight, back down into the 20s, sub freezing, but not as cold as what we have been dealing with over the last several days. Heading into heading into Wednesday, that's where we will start to see those cooling conditions, and temperatures likely going to be anywhere between 10 to 15, maybe 20 degrees cooler than they are today. So we'll keep an eye on that. Taking a look at your 7-day tracker, we will continue that cooling trend Wednesday into Thursday. Then, just in time for the electric light parade on Friday, we'll see some clearing out as well as some moderation compared to Thursday, with temperatures likely landing in the upper 40s and the lower 50s. Over the weekend, it looks like we'll have another cold front move through. Could maybe bring some moisture. We'll keep an eye on that. But for now, I'm keeping it dry. We'll continue to update that. But overall, we are expecting milder conditions and a break from these cooling conditions because we've just been wrapped up in it. But in addition, we could likely see not only just these warmer conditions, but maybe some drier, uh, some drier conditions overall. In fact, let me show you what the Climate Prediction Center is indicating over the next 6 to 10 days across the area, because it's not favorable for us at all, honestly. And here's what that looks like. In fact, taking a look at the next 6 to 10 days, we have a 50% chance of below normal precipitation. You can see that stretches from the west coast all the way across the desert southwest into the southern high plains, even stretching into the Ozarks along the Mississippi River Valley. This whole southern tier, besides the southern portions of Texas and the southeast coast, we are going to be abnormally dry, likely, not receiving much in the way of moisture. So if we do get some moisture in the form of snow, we should be grateful for it. Maybe not our favorite kind of precipitation, but overall, we are in desperate need of it. But we will pair those cooler conditions, or rather those drier conditions, with warmer than average conditions. Our average high is about 55 degrees, and we have a 50% chance of being above normal in terms of our temperature. And that warmer trend looks to cover the western half of the United States. Looks like the northeast, the Great Lakes, the Ohio River Valley into the northeast, that whole region, even stretching as far south as the northern portions of the southeast coast, they could deal with abnormally cooler conditions looking over the at least the second week of December. But I do want to take us back over to our Bushland Sky Cam in case you guys are sunrise lovers like I am. And take a look at this, a little treat as we kick off the day. A little kiss of sunshine over the horizon. Hope you guys enjoy this. I know we might not enjoy the snow that may be coming our way, although it won't be much. This is a nice treat to kick off your Tuesday. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. And if you have some time, join us for the 11 o'clock show, our midday show. If not then Corbin will have an update for you later on today. Hope you all have a great rest of your Tuesday.